Okay, so tonight we are here. Thank you for being here, wife.
My pleasure.
And we're going to be, the idea, with tomorrow being Halloween, we wanted to do things a little bit different. As you can see, we're not in our typical location. We are here at one of our friends, one of our P Kid Little's birthday parties. But we didn't want to miss a chance just to talk about, a scary marriage. I know with tomorrow being Halloween, there are ghouls and goblins, ghosts, and all things frightening that are around and that we're seeing on a daily basis in life in this pandemic season. And as we were preparing, I was thinking, well, what is a scary marriage? What causes some people to lose sleep or to be gripped with fear? And so I came up with 4 points that I think are present in a scary marriage. So I just wanted to share a little bit of this with you all. A scary marriage is one where there is fear, division, hurtful words, and chaos, or a lack of peace. So a scary marriage is one where there is fear, division, hurtful words, and chaos, or a lack of peace. And then I have some scriptures here, and the idea is, like I'm always asking, I know wife and I were always having a discussion, like, do we have a scary marriage, or is our marriage one that is enjoyable, that is peaceful, that is, that's delightful and anything but scary? So when we talk about fear, the opposite of fear is love. So fear, the opposite of fear isn't courage. The opposite of fear, in my belief, is love. So 1 John 4:18 reads, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love." And so my position, and what I would challenge anyone watching this or listening to this to ask, right? Is my marriage a scary marriage because there's fear in the marriage? Am I afraid of, having conversations with my spouse? Am I afraid of, the tension that is there? Am I afraid for the kids to be gone and it to be the two of us? Am I afraid of what's going to happen? Am I walking in fear? Or are there things that I'm afraid of? Because 1 John 4:18 says, the one who fears is not made perfect in love. So there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. I am a firm believer that our marriages, that our relationships, there should not be punishment. Now, there are consequences for actions. There might be hurt involved, but there should be no punishment. We want to have marriages of reconciliation. We want to have marriages focused on growth and progress. So that's the one. So the opposite of fear is love. And we know that a scary marriage is one where there is fear. Another element of a scary marriage is going to be division. And the opposite of division is what, wife?
Unity.
Unity. She speaks. Ooh, this is scary. So the opposite of,
Oh, you got it.
I don't think I got it.
I think
You
so.
think I got it? Oh, I didn't get it. I
Well,
think I got it
okay.
that time.
No, it's
I
the
didn't
one.
get it
No,
that time.
it's on the mirror.
Or that time I definitely got it because it crunched.
Mm.
Okay. So the opposite of division is unity. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. And this is a familiar one for us. We hear it a lot of times. It's read during weddings, often when there might be the braiding of the cord or the such. But I want to just read this and remind us that a scary marriage is one where division is present, but we want to strive for unity. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And just the idea here, when we're talking about marriage, you're going to say, hey, Pastor Neil, 3 strands, does that mean we could bring somebody else in? No, that is not what that means. That means that that center strand is going to be God himself. And then those other 2 strands are going to be husband and wife. And so I highlighted something here. Pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Maybe you're in a situation, maybe you're at a point in your relationship where you feel, or your marriage is one that's scary because you feel as if you fall and you have no one to help you up. Your spouse is not there to help you up. Or maybe your marriage is scary because your spouse has fallen and you have not done your duty as a husband and wife and reached out to help them up. That's why I'm going to ask you to do a heart check and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. Because the reality is that the world is a wild and crazy and brutal place. And I know that if I was standing by myself, as strong as I believe I am, I would not be able to defend myself against everything that the enemy has coming towards me. I know that when I have this lovely wife of mine here praying for me, on my side, at my back, and then with God on our sides and in our relationship as a centerpiece, I know that there is unity, and that's how we're going to fight division. Ephesians 5:25 through 31. We're also right here, we're staying with the idea of unity to ward off that scary marriage. Now, I'm looking at this. Hopefully, you all will see this, but it looks like there might be like the little scary scream man that's going to jump up here from behind me, right? And be like, woo! I guess that would be pretty funny if I had somebody back there to do that.
No.
Okay, never mind. Ephesians 5:25-31. So we're going to fight off division by focusing on and harboring unity. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. Now, I'm going to skip some of the things in here. I'm not rewriting the Bible. I would never do that. I'm just going to do what's applicable to us. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. We're going to jump to 28. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. No one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. That's the idea of unity. Maybe you're in a situation, maybe you are in a relationship, a marriage, where there is not one flesh, where there is not a feeling of oneness, a feeling of unity. I'm just going to ask you to spend time together, spend time in the Word, because we know that the enemy, that it is scary when you're in a marriage, but it's two individuals, where there are two individuals and not one couple. I know that at times, sometimes we might feel like we're opposed and that we're headbutting, but the reality is we do want to be together and be one. So we know that a scary marriage is one where there is fear, where there is division, and where there are hurtful words. And this could be the one that we might have the hardest time getting over, right? Because we know the idea that, we've all heard the lie, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is a lie. I've had bones broken by sticks and stones. Guess what hurts me more than anything? Words. Words hurt, especially when they come from your heart. And when I say your heart, when your heart, the person who holds your heart, when they say those hurtful words, when they push, that self-destruct button, that red button that just makes the entire nuclear power plant explode, those are the words that hurt the most. So Ephesians, you'll see that we're staying in Ephesians 4:29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building up others according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. So be careful how we talk to each other. Be careful what we say. Be careful how we say it. Many times, shut up, right? As a husband, as someone who's always talking, I have to remember, this is Neil talking to Neil, not Pastor. This is Neil talking to Neil. Shut up, be silent, be still, and don't move. So that's what I'm always saying. So I tell myself, be silent, be still, and don't move. Make sure that before I open my mouth, before the words come out, we know there's life and death in what? In the tongue, not in the thoughts. So this is one that we want to keep our mouth closed. We want to refrain from saying those hurtful words, and that we want to use affirming speech, affirming words, affirming talk. So you all have heard me refer to wife as lovely, beautiful, gorgeous, my support. And I know that every chance I get, because here's what's crazy. I know that she will say things to herself that I would never say to her. In our minds, we're the only people that we're with all day. So there are voices in my head that I have playing that the enemy has me saying to myself all day long. And sometimes the only positive influence that I have are the words that I hear from my bride. And the same thing might be true for you. The same thing is probably true at some point. You've said things worse to yourself than your spouse would ever say to you or about you. So in that regard, you might be what keeps them going. So just make sure that we're not having any unwholesome talk. And this could be around anything. I don't believe that the Bible left any gray area here. It says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. So that doesn't mean don't let any unwholesome talk come out when things are calm and peaceful and when everything is sunshine and rainbows. That means in the anger, in the frustration, in the disagreements, the arguments, right after when the money is running low, right? When you saw her type something on social media or his friend said, like, never, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. And then the last one, a scary marriage is one where fear, division, hurtful words, and chaos or a lack of peace is present. So the last one that we're going to share is just chaos. And this comes from Ephesians 4:2-3, to be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. So we talked about what happens in the marriage when it comes to fear, division, hurtful words, and now chaos, or the idea of the lack of peace. And I don't know about you, but I can only speak for Neil, Pastor Neil, but I know that many times when there's chaos in the house, when there's frustration, the hardest thing for me to do is to be peace. It's for me to just encourage the spirit of unity by being peaceful. Because when wife frustrates me, or when we're frustrated, or when life just comes between us, many times I want to say something. I want to do something. I want to just stir that pot of chaos. So the idea in Ephesians 4:2-3 says, be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. Because if we don't want to have scary marriages, then we're going to have to focus on love. We're going to have to focus on unity. We're going to have to focus on affirming and positive speech. And then we're also going to have to focus on peace as well. Because we know that where there's love, unity, affirming speech, and peace, that the enemy is going to try to bring in fear, division, hurtful words, and chaos. So that's what I want us to focus on, and just be willing. If there is fear in your marriage, if there's division in your marriage, if you all are using hurtful words in your communication, or if there's a sense of chaos, have the courage, have the desire for a stronger marriage, to sit down and say, you know what? I know tomorrow is Halloween, but we need to have this conversation today. But because here's what I always think about. A lot of us have scary marriages. We have family and friends who have scary marriages right now. And we're going to just endure Halloween with our scary marriage and get to what? To Thanksgiving. And we're going to be around family and we're going to say, I am thankful for. Are we going to say we're thankful for a scary marriage? I don't believe that we are. So that's why I think it's so important for us now, while the mindset and while we're thinking about the idea of Halloween and what's facing us just in life. Because we found out a couple of things about ourselves as individuals and couples during this pandemic. We found out what we're really good at, and we found out what we're really bad at as well. We found out, what our strengths are, and we found out what our weaknesses are. So that's what I have for today. Now, this one was recorded, so I will be sharing the link to this recording to everyone in the group. That's all I've got.